I think the genesis of the movie was a conversation with a friend about what would you do if you were told this was your last day, and we both decided that we wouldn't want to win an Oscar or go paragliding. That we just want a very normal day at home, giving breakfast to the kids, doing the things you normally do, seeing your friends, having dinner with the family and stuff. And I thought that's such a kind of interesting observation to me that obviously it went through my mind. How could I write a movie, the climax of which was that decision? And I thought, well, it would probably have to be someone who can manipulate their final day or manipulate their life in some way to come to that conclusion. And I think I then thought, oh, if you could time travel, and therefore you would think, where would I go to? Which bits of my life would I go to? And the answer is you just go to the bit of your life you're in at the moment, which is just full of the same joys that every day should be. So it came about as a result of a conversation with Simon. It was quite difficult, the casting process, because the person who looked like they were going to be the best, who was Donald Gleason, had an enormous orange beard and looked like a 35-year-old Russian autocrat. So trying to audition this guy, because he was in the middle of Anna Karenina, and trying to imagine what does he actually even look like. I've got no idea what's going on behind that massive roseate bush. But Donal had a lot of the qualities I most love. I mean, he actually has many of them as a human being, but he has, doubt, high spirits, optimism. And so he was, finally, it was quite an easy decision to make. You have to cast people who you really love, and this was a particularly kind of complicated in its uncomplicatedness, because she's not an effect. She's not, it's not one of those films where she's a strong businesswoman and he's this, or she's tough and he's not. And what I wanted is somebody who, the texture of whom I just adored, because you have to go from falling in love right through to being the mother of three children. And, Rachel McAdams is somebody who every time I've ever seen them in a film, I just sort of melt into this sense of comfort and love. So I was lucky to get her. This really is my first film about family, and it's as much to do with a brother and a sister and a father and a mother as it is to do with love. And of course, it is the way that when two people fall in love, they are finally going to turn into a mother and a father, and you see that happening during the course of the film. Can have the delight of time travel without it being a science fiction movie, so that I'm still allowed to deal with pretty ordinary things. And it's quite odd that the movie that I've written that is in a way most normal and just about normal life, rather than heightened life, happens to be the one in which characters can time travel. Well, there are two answers to the question about whether or not it's my last film. One is, I think it's a good thing that I should feel that it might be, because, as it were, I've caught up with the things that I'm interested in. So it is a film that, as it were, particularly with the death of my dad and with having children and everything, deals with things that I'm interested in up till now. So I feel as though I'm up to date, and so this is the last film I want to make now. Let's put it that way. But also, there is an interesting wider philosophical issue, which is that if you make a film about the delight of the normal texture of your life, if you can live it without tension, perhaps what you shouldn't do then is make another film, because it's impossible to be happy when you're making films, because they're very tense.